Have you ever received the advice, just be yourself? Is that good advice for a leader? What does it take to be an authentic leader? Well, stay tuned because after the jump, we're going to be discussing what authentic leadership is, what it isn't, and what it takes to be an authentic leader. Welcome to the Unnatural Leader, where we believe that leadership is a skill that can be trained and not an attribute with which some people are lucky enough to be born. I'm Andy Glenn, and the goal of these videos is to provide to you a free and easy to access resource that will help you develop the tools to be a better leader. Positive leadership has a net positive impact, a very synergistic effect across industries, sectors, markets, political boundaries. In short, the more good leaders there are in this world, the better our world will be. As promised, this episode of The Unnatural Leader will focus on authentic leadership. What is it? Well, to define what it is, I think first we want to start by saying what it isn't. Authentic leadership is not an excuse to be a jerk to people. It's not being insensitive to their needs, desires, problems. It's not the cowboy mentality of you're either with me or against me. And it sure as heck is not an excuse to say people will either take me as I am or they can go to hell. To be authentic is so much more. Now, Peter Grimme, an expert in authenticity as it applies to learning, tells us that to be authentic is to draw on a body of knowledge and to act and speak from those moral spaces with a confidence that is rooted in a conscious collective understanding. I get that's a lot, so let me run through that one more time. What Peter Grimme tells us is that to act authentically is to draw on a body of knowledge and to act and speak from those moral spaces with a confidence that is rooted in a conscious collective understanding. What does that really mean, though? And how does it apply to leadership? Well, the first thing that we hit is this idea of a body of knowledge. So to develop this body of knowledge is going to take time. Becoming an authentic leader is a process. It's not an event. You're not going to watch this video, as much as it pains me to say, and you're not going to watch this video and walk away being an authentic leader. In fact, I personally wonder if authentic leadership is an ideal to which we strive, but we can never quite attain. And the reason I say that is because we are always going to make mistakes. Those are just going to happen. But how we respond to those mistakes helps us to get closer to this ideal of authentic leadership. If we make a mistake and we learn from it and we add to that body of knowledge and to our conscious collective understanding, well, then we're getting closer to this ideal authentic leader. Or, in other words, as Will Rogers put it, good judgment comes from experience, and a lot of that comes from bad judgment. Now, I do think that there are ways that we can shortcut this experience issue to some degree. The first thing that we need to do is become very, very self-aware. We need to spend some time in reflection, understanding where we are strong and where we are weak. We can then use our strengths to add to that immediate body of knowledge that we have currently, and then we can begin to address those weaknesses that we have, so that we can then transition those to be strengths, and we can then develop some understanding as to those and how it applies to our ability to lead. One great way of doing that, and this is the other shortcut, is by looking at the experiences of others and understanding where they have failed and how they have overcome those failures as well, so that we can then, again, shortcut our experience, but we can still add to our body of knowledge. So in general, and we're going to spend a lot more time in future episodes talking about both self-awareness and then that kind of building and adding to our body of knowledge, which is really the whole point of all of these videos and the whole point of the Unnatural Leader in general, is to help you build that body of knowledge so that you can act and speak from a place that is rooted in confidence because you have a firm understanding of leadership. But we are going to walk you through in future episodes some ideas and some ways of looking at becoming more self-aware, identifying both your strengths and weaknesses, and then how do you apply those to again further enhance your leadership. That's what this whole thing is about. That's what our whole project is about here, and we hope that you'll join us in future episodes for that as well. So again, in short, what is authentic leadership? Being authentic is more about that process of becoming a better leader in general, of identifying our strengths and our weaknesses, of applying tools to improve those, and then to develop a more sound judgment on the back end based on the experiences that we or others have had on which we can draw. So with that, I hope you'll join us again next week. I think we're going to dive in deeper onto this idea of self-awareness, and we're going to start looking at some very, very specific tools that we can use to become more self-aware. Thanks so much for joining us. Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed this week's episode of The Unnatural Leader. If you are finding value in these, please let us know. We've got a lot of great things coming up, a lot of projects, a lot of irons in the fire at this moment that I think will pan out to make a much more smooth and better product in the long run. If you are finding value, my one request is that you share this with other friends or other leaders. Help us reach more. Again, as I said in the intro, we firmly believe here that there is a net positive impact of good leadership, and the more good leaders there are in the world, the better our world will be. And that is regardless of the industry or sector in which those leaders are. So please help us reach more by referring us to friends, and if you have a moment, go ahead and hit the subscribe button or the like button. That helps our ratings here in YouTube. It helps us reach more people through other means beyond word of mouth. But please understand that word of mouth is still the best way for us to reach new audiences. Thank you so much, and I'm looking forward to many, many more episodes of The Unnatural Leader.